At Citi Field in New York, the New York Mets play the Philadelphia Phillies. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Spectrum. Hey, Mets fans, get the best TV, internet, and voice service today at Spectrum.com. By Cash for Life from the New York Lottery, you could win $1,000 a day for life. And by Geico, over 75 years of savings and service. Well, they say in the big city, things move a little faster than everywhere else.
Oh.
I mean, faster. Don't breathe. Might pass you by. And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. Gary Cohen, Keith Hernandez, Ron Darling with you tonight as the Mets close out their 4-game series against the Phillies. Jacob Degrom takes the mound for the Mets tonight, and this has been a seminal season for Degrom. He'll take the mound tonight for the first time since being selected to his second All-Star team. He leads the major leagues in earned run average, but what's been especially noticeable has been the strides that he's made to get to this point. What has impressed you the most about what Jake has done?
Well, just about everything, but I know what you're saying, Gary. You know, we started at the beginning of his career, and we've tracked every single start, and he came up a guy that had great control, a guy that was very aggressive in the strike zone, and now he's used it, honestly, with the analytics to work against the hitter, throwing up in the strike zone. What I love about him, though, is the maturity he has shown this year. I think it takes a lot of maturity to pitch the way he's pitched. He looks across the dugout. There's a guy who has 12 wins who's pitched really well, Aaron Nola. Well, he's pitched better, and he's not even close to that win count. And to me, Degrom is a guy that, despite all the analytics, wins mean a lot.
Well, he's only got 5 of those, but he certainly has made an impression on everybody, in part because he's a guy who can throw 4 pitches dominantly for strikes. So if you're a hitter, how do you approach him at this point?
Well, every approach as the game begins is a hitter's strategy. Obviously, number one, that fastball upstairs, got to be cognizant of it, very much aware, make him get that down. Another pitch I would be very wary of and not try to swing at is that hard slider he throws to the left-handers down and in. He's very, very good with that pitch. It's a tough pitch. I would wait for the fastball. Any great pitcher, you can't go up there and have an approach that you're going to hit and wail and try to hit home runs. You got to go up the middle and have like a 2-strike approach to a pitcher with this kind of stuff.
Phillies are a very patient team. We'll see whether that works with Degrom tonight. Jake makes his final start before the All-Star game next Tuesday in Washington. Mets and Phillies, all the action coming your way on SNY. at Citi Field when the Mets take on the Nationals. The first 15,000 fans in attendance will receive a WB Mason toy truck. Plus, all kids 12 and under can run the bases post-game in the Mr. Met Dash, presented by Northwell Health. Purchase tickets at Mets.com/tickets. Here's your forward leaderboard. Jacob Degrom well out in front in ERA in the National League. Aaron Nola, who pitched in this series and looked great, is second. Max Scherzer, who will face the Mets tomorrow night, is third. Keeping it all close to home.
Nice.
There are no fees on any Mets tickets now through tomorrow. This limited time offer applies to all remaining regular season home games in 2018, including the Syndergaard's Thor bobblehead game on Saturday, August 4th. To purchase tickets, visit Mets.com/tickets. Final game of the series, Mets and Phillies. Mets looking for the split with Degrom on the mound. His first pitch is coming right up. The Mets' shining light in 2018. And the numbers tell the story.
You see the Toyota numbers. That 1.79 ERA is the second best before the All-Star break. Only Dwight Gooden had a 1.68 in 1985. Last time he faced the Phillies, 245 pitches.
Yeah, 1 inning. That was the most aberrational game I think we've ever watched.
That's right.
What did he have, 20 foul balls?
That's right.
In the first inning? Here's the lineup for the Phillies. They hit the pitcher eighth because Velasquez is a pretty good hitting pitcher. And they hit the catcher Knapp ninth.
Why would you take Franco out of the eighth spot in the way he's had a series?
Yeah, he's still in front of the pitcher.
Okay.
Last time out against Tampa Bay, completely dominant for 8 innings. One blip. He gave up a home run to Willie Adames, and that wound up costing him the chance for a win. Left a 1-1 game. Mets got the grand slam from Jose Bautista in the bottom of the ninth to win it. But Degrom came away with yet another no decision. But it was the 57th time in his 125 career starts that he had allowed 1 run or no runs.
Alexis Mets defense. Mesoraco behind the plate. Reyes, of course, with Todd Frazier on the DL, getting a lot of playing time at third base. Out in the outfield, Matt Dendecker. How about that? Just recalled. That'll give Mets a better defensive outfield. When you got a pitcher like Degrom out there, I want to put my best defensive squad out there behind him.
Dendecker's first game as a Met since 2014. Cesar Hernandez leads off, and he takes a fastball for a strike, and we're underway. Degrom 6-1 lifetime against the Phillies, over a dozen starts, 2.74 ERA. And Hernandez hits one off the mound, redirects right to Flores, and he throws out Hernandez for the first out of the night.
It's the one time the pitching mound can really help you as a pitcher. That ball was destined to go up the middle for a hit, but because it's coned shape, it caromed to the right to its Cabrera.
So 1 out and nobody on. Now Rhys Hoskins, 4 for 14 in this series. Each one of these teams is sending only 1 player to the All-Star game. We saw the Phillies All-Star Aaron Nola on Monday, and he pitched and hit like an All-Star. And now it's Degrom's turn to show off his All-Star credentials. Nola's going to get 1 more start, and they're going to start him Saturday so he can pitch in the All-Star game. And of course Jake will be fully rested. I think it's pretty much a foregone conclusion that Max Scherzer will get the start. After all, it's his home ballpark.
And Max is pitching tomorrow here.
0-2 to Hoskins. Slider rolled out to short. Moving in is Rosario. 2 out. Ahmed's got a little extra hop in his step these last couple of days.
He played with some energy last night. You know, it's easy to get caught up in this season and get sucked under with it, and you just got to rise above it.
So 2 out and nobody on. Now Odubel Herrera, who homered in last night's game, 2 for 10 in this series. Phillies start the day with sole possession of first place in the National League East, a game ahead of the Braves, who've lost 6 of 7, their first down stretch in a while, and the Phillies have taken advantage. 12 games over 500 now, and Herrera pops one up on the right side. Flores into shallow right. Side retired. Easy as pie for Degrom. 6 pitches in a 1-2-3 opening inning. Mets come to bat with no score. Conforto gets a turn in the leadoff spot with Brandon Nimmo getting a night off. Matt Dendecker just brought up today with Kevin Kazmarski going down to Las Vegas. His first Met game in several years.
There's the Land Rover numbers for Vince Velasquez. This is his first start after coming off the DL. Took a comebacker from Adam Eaton that hit him on the right forearm. Remember that play? He threw it over left-handed to first base to get the out. He hasn't pitched very well in his career against the Mets except here at Citi Field. ERA just above 2.
Andrew Knapp getting a new mitt. I didn't know Velasquez threw that hard. I mean, that was just warming up.
Give it to the trainer, fix it. Trainers are always the guys who take care of it. All right.
That one appears ready to go. Conforto 0 for 7 in this series, and he takes the first pitch for a strike. Conforto, Bautista, and Flores for the Mets. You see Conforto's outstanding numbers against Velasquez. 4 for 7 with a couple of home runs. Velasquez, you remember, burst on the scene 3 years ago with a 16 strikeout game against the Padres in the first month of the season.
And you know, he has all the stuff to be a steady winner. He just has to throw more strikes, pitch ahead,
and has to stay healthy, which was the problem for him last year. Made only 15 starts because of elbow problems and then a finger problem that required surgery. Conforto lifts one to center, and Herrera in a couple of strides. 1 out.
Jeep Philly starting infield. Michael Franco over at third base made some nice plays to his left last night. Out in the outfield, Rhys Hoskins. His nose is okay after he collided and smashed into the wall in an attempt to make a catch.
Jose Bautista just 2 for 15 since his game-winning grand slam last Friday. And he takes one of the dirt from Velasquez. Bautista's on-base percentage as a Met is still at .400. His 45th game with the Mets after they picked him up following his release from the Braves. And he cracks one foul.
It's pretty basic with Bautista, Keith. Even the Chevrolet knows. He's looking for that ball middle of the plate in, and he wants to pull.
Yes, he does. He likes to drop the head of that bat down. He likes that ball around mid-thigh down, middle in.
Full shift on against Bautista. Wilmer Flores waiting on deck. Slider hit on the ground, and Kingery in the shift is there to throw out Bautista. 2 away. So 2 up and 2 set aside. Now Wilmer, who's had himself quite the series. 4 for 8, couple of doubles and a home run at a time when the Mets don't have a whole lot of other offense going on. Hit the walk-off home run in game 1 on Monday. Phillies took the next 2 games of the series. And Wilmer playing second base tonight. So he's been getting a little more playing time there. With Cabrera's out of the lineup tonight. He's got a bit of a hyperextended elbow, but Asdrubal is available to pinch it. Should just be a one-day thing. We saw him, Cabrera, shaking his arm after making a tag last night. He came out an inning later, but Mickey Callaway said it was really more swinging the bat that Cabrera hurt himself. It kind of aggravated an elbow problem that's been bugging him for a while. And you'd think that Rose would protect his elbow.
You know something, I look at that elbow and I go, it's gotta hurt with them doing that tattoo. Oh, no thanks.
It's all the rage.
I got a calcium deposit on my right elbow, folks, from how many times I got hit in that elbow right here. And
why don't you get a tattoo there to cover it up?
If I go like this the wrong way, it just goes zing right up to my neck.
You don't need any more zings. Keep keep those needles away from him.
Oh, good pitch. Good slider. This kid's got good stuff. There's no question about it. If he can just control his pitches, this is as good as it gets right there.
Two-two to Flores. And did he go? He did not on the fastball away. Tom High in with the call.
You don't get a more perfect kind of built pitcher than Velasquez. Big kid, tall, strong, and his shoulders are so broad that his long last name, you could still fit a couple more letters on those shoulders.
Yeah, he's a big guy. Wouldn't charge the mound.
Wilmer gets jammed, and Knapp up the line to grab it, and that retires the side. So Velasquez matches Degrom with a 1-2-3 inning. No score after one in the big city. Second inning, Mets and Phillies no score. Jacob Degrom threw a 6-pitch first inning. Let's see how Carlos Santana contends with him. Santana, he of the lengthy plate appearances and the 74 walks this year. And he's up there swinging and flies one out to left. It would appear as though the game plan for the Phillies has changed tonight. One out.
What did I tell you, Gary, in the open? I said, what he got a pitcher with great stuff. You've got to pretend like you've got a 2-strike count on you.
2 pitches to Hernandez, 3 to Cesar Hernandez, 2 to Rhys Hoskins, 1 to Herrera, 1 to Santana.
Could you repeat that?
I know that was stumbled a little bit with that.
7 pitches.
Here's Nick Williams, 6 for 13 in this series. And he takes a fastball just out of the zone. Ball 1.
Thought that was a strike.
It was.
Clearly Jake thought so too.
So did Mesoraco. Too early to moan at the umpire.
It's unanimous. Dan Bellino is the home plate umpire tonight. And Williams swings through the fastball, and it's 1-1.
Boy, Williams. Oh, let's do the umpires, Gary. Go ahead.
Jeremy Rehak filling in. Took over Adam Hamari's spot. Otherwise the same crew for all 4 games of the series. 2 balls and a strike to Williams. Scott Kingery is on deck.
Williams is a real uppercutter. He had a nice night last night, 3 hits, but the last 2 at bats he punched out.
He's been on the rise. I mean, he was kind of an afterthought early in the season, but ever since he hit that pinch hit home run against Sewald last time the Mets were in Philly, it Seems as though Williams' season took off from there.
May 13th, the same day that Jake threw 45 pitches in the first inning.
Williams cracks one toward the middle, and he's got the first hit of this game. A 1-out single. His 7th hit in 14 at bats in the series.
Nice series. New York's been very good to him.
So 1 out and 1 on. Now Scott Kingery, 2 for 12 in the first 3 games of the series. Short lead for Williams, and Kingery bluffing a bunt with Reyes playing back. Your AT&T achieving more stat. Last 2 starts for Degrom, not so great in Miami, but then superb against the Marlins on Friday.
Yeah, he had 2 starts here. Dodgers and Miami were 6 innings, 3 runs, but then had a more Degromian start his last one. Timeout.
Well, how about this? It's popped up. Flores has to retreat. Dendecker coming on quick, and he gets there for the 2nd out. And Dendecker, always a terrific center fielder. Remember the spring of 2013? He was the spectacular spring training defensive phenomenon, and nobody even thought about Juan Lagares.
Right.
And then Dendecker got hurt right at the end of the spring.
Right. Broke his hand.
Right. And then Lagares came up and was spectacular from day one, and really kind of usurped what it looked like was going to be Dendecker's spot. Here's Maikel Franco, and he chops one to the right side. Nice easy hop for Wilmer, and that retires the side. So Degrom again makes quick work of the Phillies. 8-pitch inning, no score. Score. Jacob Degrom has faced 7 batters and thrown 14 pitches. It is remarkable to see a team, the Phillies, change their entire game plan based on who's on the mound.
That's how good he is.
They must have heard the open. Follow my advice.
Well, so far it's not working, Keith.
Well, that's not my point. Is
and now he might go 9. Dominic Smith broke an 0 for 16 stretch with a pinch hit single his last time up last night. Velasquez threw a 12-pitch first inning, got the side in order. Tom is at 197 through 66 at bats. And he hits this one out to center. Herrera started back, now coming on, and he makes the diving catch. Herrera froze and took a step back, but was able to make up ground. One away.
He's a barrel of laughs. Herrera, he is an adventure.
Infielder turned outfielder, right, Gary?
Yep, from the Texas organization, the Rule 5 draft. Don't generally get players of that caliber in the Rule 5 draft. But every once in a while it happens. Here's Mesoraco, 1 for 9 in this series. Johan Santana was a Rule 5 pick. George Bell was a Rule 5 pick. Roberto Clemente was a Rule 5 pick.
Those are the great picks.
Yeah. Mesoraco hammers one off to the left field line. Toward the corner goes Hoskins, and he catches it on the warning track. 2 out. Well, this was a seminal moment in the history of Citi Field. Chris Majkowski, the longtime engineer on Mets radio broadcasts since 1993, hasn't missed a game since August of '93, and he threw out the first pitch today. We were very happy to see him get it there on the fly, and Madge all smiles with Devin Mesoraco after that.
Sneaky athletic. He knows how to throw a ball.
Yeah,
nice.
I never saw Madge move like that before.
Well, congratulations to Madge, who has done such wonderful work behind the scenes for a quarter of a century. An Iron Man behind a soundboard.
What year was it when he started? What year were you in?
It's my 5th year.
Okay.
Yeah. And we had a longtime engineer, Dave DeAngelis, who had retired after the '92 season, and they brought in a new guy who, let's just say, didn't work out.
Can you go into detail?
Well, let's just say that Bob Murphy was a very particular guy, and this guy rubbed Murph the wrong way.
Okay.
So there you have some of the particulars on Madge. Big movie buff. He calls those 3 movies, by the way, the Holy Trinity.
Well, they are 3 pretty good films.
And he did miss one game in 1993 after he took over. That was for his sister's wedding, because he wanted to do the game, but his mom said, no, you're going to your sister's wedding. And he felt so guilty about that. He hasn't missed a game since.
I met his mom, Josephine. What a lovely lady. She said she watches us all the time. I apologized for all 3 of us.
Didn't you ask her why she didn't listen to the radio?
I did not. And he did it. She did it in front of her son. And I did not know that Madge had a twin brother until today.
His brother's a lawyer.
Hey.
I walked into the radio booth, and I've never seen Madge with a coat and tie on before, and there's the brother on the left. And I shook his hand. I said, good luck on your throw today. And I turned it to talk to Howie, and there's Madge. I go, what's going on here?
It's like the Parent Trap. Well,
Madge is a good man.
He deserves every bit of the accolades that he's getting, because he's not just the engineer on those broadcasts. He's the producer. He's the brain. He's the comic relief.
He's also got the Twitter handle in the middle of the game too.
Mets Booth.
Mets Booth is hilarious because of Madge.
1-2 to Dendecker, and he lifts one to left, and Hoskins again moving over, and that retires the side. 6 up and 6 down for Vince Velasquez to start the night. Mets and Phils, no score. Degrom faces Vince Velasquez, who's hitting 8th in the order. 15 pitches to 7 batters for Jake. We shorted him 1. It's really 15. And Velasquez goes up there hacking. Velasquez, one of the better hitting pitchers in the league. Lifetime 222. You know, most teams, when they hit their pitcher 8th, it's because they want a second leadoff hitter hitting 9th. It's not the case with Velasquez. They hit him 8th because he's a pretty good hitter. They've got Andrew Knapp, the backup catcher, playing tonight, hitting 9th.
See Degrom checking the mound. Everything is so precise when you're one of the elite pitchers that when you miss that badly, you know exactly what just happened and how to correct it.
Hit sharply, but right at Flores. And a stretch by Smith to get Velasquez 1 away. Let's check in with Steve Gelb. Steve.
Gary, you don't get to the level that Jacob Degrom is at without putting in some very hard, very purposeful work in between your starts, and Degrom is certainly no exception to that. It was really interesting listening to him talk about what he does to get ready for his outings. When he's out there in the bullpen, he throws almost exclusively fastballs to the glove side, doesn't throw any fastballs to the arm side. So that would be inside to lefties, outside to righties. The reasoning behind it, said he picked it up from John Smoltz in that conversation they had last year, where Smoltz also recommended he throw 2 bullpens in between starts. But the reasoning is that that particular pitch is the toughest one to execute in the game. It's the toughest one to get the full extension on, and if you can master that, which Degrom clearly has, then everything else plays off of it.
Well, he just threw 2 perfect ones in on Andrew Knapp to get ahead 0-2.
He also throws an inordinate amount of pitches from the stretch. I asked him why. He said the most important pitches you'll throw in a game come from the stretch. Brilliant. Simply brilliant.
Maybe why he's been so effective in the tighter situations when he's been pitching out of the stretch. 128 batting average against with runners in scoring position this year. 128. Cesar Hernandez on deck. Two shakes and a nod. It's up and in Knapp 2-2.
Ron, I did have one question for you about throwing specifically to that side, because Degrom mentioned that basically you're never going to lose your accuracy with the arm side fastball, the arm side of the plate. Why is that? Why is it so much easier to throw that particular pitch?
Well, that's a great question. I think it's just a natural way to throw for most right-handers. As you see this great curveball, first one I think he's thrown in the game so far. It's just a natural way to throw. When you're playing catch with someone, it's usually someone who's right-handed, so you're throwing the ball to their glove hand, right? Not to their arm hand. So it's just a natural way that you throw since the beginning of time, since 6 or 7 years old. It's always the easiest way to do it. The other reason that you want to work on that glove side is because you've got to keep your shoulder in so long, and it's an unnatural thing to do. So that's why you have to work on it. When you're pitching, you're really trying to throw the ball as, hard, right? And what your front shoulder wants to do is come out, because you want to throw it hard. But if you want to pitch to that side of the plate, it's got to stay in almost past where you're comfortable.
Two and one to Hernandez, a grounded out his first time up. Rolls over the changeup, and it's 2-2. It doesn't matter which side of the rubber you're on, right?
It doesn't matter, but it's all comfortability. Some guys can throw better to the glove side if they're on the third base or first base. It's really how you feel comfortable. I felt comfortable right in the middle. I don't know why, but I just did. See, that pitch right there is a pitch that Degrom wants to get at some point. Bellino's not calling the pitch outside to either side of the plate, fastball or slider. I'm not saying that's a strike, but that's a pitch he wants to be called a strike.
3-2 coming, and the changeup pulled toward the hole, and Hernandez has a 2-out hit. Second hit for the Phillies.
He's got an amazing long stride. It doesn't get any longer than that. I mean, what is he, 2 feet away from being on the grass? 3 feet. He's up there with, well, there's been shorter pitchers who had long strides too. Billy Wagner, Johan Santana. But the big unit had a long stride, and he's got one comparable.
And as we discussed earlier this season, that increases its effective velocity because he's throwing 96, 97 from closer to the plate.
So Hernandez hit a single, right? The reason he hit a single is because he hits the ball all over the joint from coast to coast, so you can't shift him. So that's why he got that hit between first and second.
Rhys Hoskins grounded out to short his first time up. Hernandez a stolen base threat. And Hoskins takes a slider down, 1-0.
There's two things. From up above, you'll see the stride, but even more importantly, watch the front foot where it's pointed when he lands. Straight at the hitter. Not across his body, not open, just straight where you want to throw it. That's what you do if you had a bow and arrow. That's what you do if you pitch.
Toward the hole, Reyes cuts it off nicely, and they get the force to end the inning. 3 scoreless innings for Degrom to start his night. Nice range by Reyes. Still no score at Citi Field. Insider Andy Martino discussed Mickey's managing and the latest on the GM search on an all-new Shea Anything podcast. Search Shea Anything and subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts. Lovely night in New York. Just enough haze to make it feel like summer. Supposed to be drier tomorrow. Ahmed Rosario takes high as we start the home third.
I was just thinking in our shot there, Empire State Building looks right next to the Freedom Tower. It'd take you an hour and 10 minutes to get from there, one point to the other.
Rosario had a huge offensive night last night. And he went around in the half swing, 1-1. 2 triples and a single last night. And both the triples went to left field. One up against the wall and left, the one Hoskins crashed the fence, and the other down the line. And according to the research, he was the first Met with 2 left field triples in at least 30 years. It's certainly a rare event. Reyes on deck, and then Degrom to face Vince Velasquez in the third.
Rosario is really uppercutting, and I know he had a big day yesterday, but it's like everything they've been trying to do with him all year is just out the window. He's up there hacking and letting it wail.
Do you think they're okay with that as long as he doesn't go too far out of the strike zone and chases less?
I don't know what's going on here as far, but we've noticed now for the last it's been a little almost 2 weeks. Rosario's just taken just these big swings.
And he dumps that one down the right field line, and it lands for a base hit. Rosario takes a hard turn but holds as Williams gets to it quickly. So Rosario with the Mets' first hit of the night.
Well, fastball down the middle, 2-strike hitting going the other way. Hit the ball right up at the plate. Played that ball the opposite field.
Jose Reyes at the plate. Velasquez has been pretty tough to steal on. He's given up only 2 steals this year. It's one area that Mickey Callaway said he wanted Rosario to make some progress, to use his speed to steal some more bases.
We talked about Velasquez being a good hitter. The good athletes that are pitchers usually take care of the running game.
It's Velasquez, who was picked up by the Phillies before the 2016 season in the deal that sent Ken Giles to Houston. The same Ken Giles who today was sent to the minor leagues by the Astros. It's kind of a long story.
Yeah, it is. Still talking about it in Houston.
Reyes asked for time and got it late. So Giles obviously has not performed nearly as well as the Astros had hoped since the postseason last year. But then he got into it with his manager.
Well, you know, when you are taken out of the game, you hand the ball to the manager. If you have an issue with him, going into his office after the game. He said some choice words on the mound to his manager when the ball was taken away. Just can't do that. It's disrespect at the biggest level.
Now, the Astros did not acknowledge that that played a factor in his demotion. Hinch kind of tried to change the subject when he was asked about it today. But the timing of it would certainly make it appear as though it was at least a piece of the decision. But that's quite a come down for Giles.
I don't know if teams feel like there's going to be repercussions from the player and the Players Association because of, just tell the truth.
Well, I guarantee you one thing. If Giles was having a good season, he's not getting sent down.
That's right.
He's getting into the manager's office and they'll have a talk after the game.
If he was having a good season, he probably wouldn't have said those things.
It's true. I mean, another case, I'm sorry, Ron,
No,
is,
sorry.
you know, Giles did not have a good postseason. I mean, he blew up and was obviously rattled. And it kind of much reminds me. I mean, remember Mark Wohlers was never the same after that Yankee World Series when he gave up the home run
Jim Leyritz.
to Leyritz, and he never was the same again.
Well, how about the Nationals?
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
blanking
Drew
on-
Storen.
Drew Storen.
Storen
Right.
and the left-hander for the Phillies back in the Dykstra days, the hard thrower,
Mitch
Williams, in that Toronto series.
Well, the closer tends to be, I don't want to be stereotypical here, tends to be a little bit of a loose cannon anyway. Adrenaline junkie.
Ooh, never heard that one before.
Well, and also, you know, games are decided by closers.
That's right.
Right? I mean, if there's going to be dramatics late in the postseason game, it's usually going to be that guy who's going to give it up.
That's right.
Reyes starting his 5th straight game for the Mets.
just don't understand why. And listen, AJ is one of the smartest guys in baseball. Simply say this: didn't appreciate what he said to me on the mound. He can't get anybody out right now. Is his best interest and the team's best interest spend some time at AAA. That's all you have to say, right? Done.
Truth is always effective.
Always works.
Reyes pops it up. Franco coming down to call. And that's the first out of the inning. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Taiwan Tourism. It's time for Taiwan. Search go to Taiwan.net. By Verizon, the most awarded network is now the best streaming network. And by your tri-state Audi dealers, take a test drive today. Nice parade. Nice ring. Very subtle. Unlike today's rings.
I know.
A little overwhelming. Here's Degrom, 3 for 37 at the plate this year, and he bunts one foul.
Can't shake anybody's hands with those rings.
Yeah.
Give an imprint.
Our ring looks like a senior class ring.
I'd rather have it that way.
Yeah.
The other ones are just showpieces on the mantle.
Too gaudy.
Wouldn't you rather wear them?
The ones they make now are big enough to fit over 2 fingers.
Make them into earrings.
Brass knuckles.
That's one good thing about those rings. Darn right. So when I wore my World Series ring after we won, I always had it in my right hand. And if ever there was a little bit of trouble somewhere, I'd switch it over to the left hand, just in case. Never had to call on it to duty.
Thank goodness. Degrom pops up the bunt. Franco lets it drop, and now the throw is cut off by Santana. Now they get the out at first, and now Rosario in the rundown. And he is finally tagged out for the double play that ends the inning. Terrific play by Franco to let it drop when he saw Degrom wasn't running hard. And then a crazy play with Santana cutting it off before the throw got to first base. But nonetheless, the Phillies able to turn the double play to get through the inning.
Really a heads-up play.
Do once Franco let this ball drop.
Very heads up by Franco. Throwing to first base. And now Santana messes up, but he has the presence of mind to make up for it and throw behind the runner, get the out, and now you got the run down the tag. That was a scramble right there, folks. Wasn't pretty.
Hernandez ends up getting both putouts on the play. 5-3, 4-6-4.
But the play started because Jacob did not run out of the box. He's got to do that.
And I thought what was brilliant on Franco's part was to throw the ball to first rather than to throw it to second.
Yeah.
Because if he throws to second, try to get the force there, Degrom might beat it out.
Rosario had no chance. Nothing he can do about this.
You really have to judge it, though, because if the guy on first doesn't read it right and he's too far off first base, then you kind of have to go to second and make sure you get that out, because if you go to first, you don't get him out at second, you've got a real player at second base and a pitcher out of the game as opposed to pitcher on first base.
Well, here's Degrom's part of it.
Yeah, he just got his dauber down because he didn't get it come up with a good bunt, but you always have to run, just like you always have to cover first.
He knew that he had made a big mistake. I think that's going to happen again. When you have something like that happen to you as a pitcher batting, is it hard to not take it to the mound?
You're embarrassed for a short time, and then you know, if you're a good pitcher, you shake it off. I mean, that has nothing to do with anything. But you know, again, like it'll happen to a good player, it'll never happen to you again because you'll remember it forever.
2-2 to Herrera, and he fouls it off the fists.
It was a particularly peculiar play. It was a big scramble. And speaking of peculiar plays, how about Houston last night?
Unbelievable. Alex Bregman hits 2 home runs and then gets the game-winning run home by hitting the ball 2 feet.
That's right. You know what he did do, though? He ran to first base on a strikeout.
Eventually.
Yeah.
I mean, the ball was up the first baseline. It looked like it was going to go foul, and then it spun back into fair territory. Lucroy picked it up right on the line, and Bregman stopped and kind of retreated toward the plate. Lucroy reached out to tag him, and he dropped the ball, and it bounced off the umpire. But then he picked it up, and he still had plenty of time to throw Bregman out, but he hit him in the helmet on the way down to first base, and the winning run scored. Crazy. And you were telling me, Keith, that's not the first time Bregman's gotten a winning run home.
I listened to the audio of the broadcast, and the announcer for Houston says the second time it's happened that Bregman has driven it. That wasn't a run driven; it had it in air.
Yeah.
But drove in a run by not hitting the ball onto the infield grass. It happened once before. I vaguely remember it happening.
9th pitch of the at-bat coming to Herrera. First hitter has really made Degrom work, and he chops one over the mound. Flores in to get it, gets it in the webbing, and then a high throw, and that pulled Smith off the bag, and Herrera is safe.
It's got to be an E4 here, and this is almost similar to what Wilmer did in the bases loaded, if you recall, a series earlier when he threw the ball home. He kind of lollipopped it. This wasn't a lollipop. He just overthrew Smith.
They're going to give Herrera credit for a hit.
Wow.
Help me out with this.
Yeah.
Take a look at Wilmer's glove. Is he wearing a second baseman's glove or something a little bigger?
It looks big, doesn't it?
I mean, I was just looking at the way that ball rolled around the webbing when he caught it, and, you know, might have delayed him making the transfer.
I don't think it's that big. I would have ruled that an error.
Herrera takes off first pitch. Throw by Mesoraco is a good one, and he got him. Perfect throw by Devin Mesoraco to gun down Odubel Herrera.
Let me tell you, Mesoraco can throw, and he's accurate.
He's got great form.
He comes right over the top. Nice tag by Rosario. Let's see if he beat him.
Waiting to see if the Phillies are going to challenge. He might have gotten that hand in.
I think he did.
And they're going to challenge.
Jeez.
Let's see right here.
Watch the left hand.
Yeah, he's safe. Unless he came off.
No, he never came off.
And he didn't keep the tag on him.
Certainly looks safe.
Nice throw by Mesoraco. Yeah, he's in there.
First thing about the steal, I thought coming into this game, Keith said it right. They're going to be very aggressive swinging the pitches. They're also going to run, hit and run, do a lot of things against the talented Degrom. The play on Flores, almost every second baseman, when he charges that ball, will throw it from where he catches it. A sidearm throw. Romer caught it and then took it up as high as he could and threw overhand. That's an unusual way to make that play.
And the call is overturned. So it's a stolen base for Herrera, his 5th of the year.
Yep. So I think that Jacob's going to have to be very wary the rest of his career, as long as he's pitching top notch like this. He's going to have to be aware of the stolen base. The guys are going to get on base and try to take it to him.
0-1 to Santana. Rosario staying right with Herrera at second, and it's bounced foul. Well, I mean, historically, Jake has been really good at controlling the running game. It's had 6 steals and 11 tries against him this year.
Yeah, but still, you got to push the envelope. You know, you're just not going to get 3 hits in a row, usually from off Degrom. It's not going to happen.
You got a lead-off base hit with a 0-0 ball game with Herrera, even though he's only gets his 5th stolen base. You got to know that they're going to try to, leading off the inning, try to get in scoring position.
Santana has to move. We mentioned that number earlier. It is spectacular.
This is one of those instances where you know the other pitcher's pitching well. You need a strikeout here. You can't allow him to get the runner over. So slider down in the dirt, another fastball up. No changeup. Changeup to me is a pitch you can pull.
Throws with a curveball in the dirt, and it's 2-2.
Problem with Santana is that even off the good pitchers, he has such a good eye. At 2-2, probably have to go back to doing something that'll get him out here. Don't go to 3-2.
74 walks this year. Only Bryce Harper has walked more in the National League. We'll see Harper and the Nats tomorrow night for the first of 4.
Got shut out today.
Back to 500 for the year. Crazy. 2-2, and he misses away. Full count. Well, it's Scherzer tomorrow night against Steven Matz. Syndergaard makes his return Friday night against the struggling Tanner Roark. Zach Wheeler goes Saturday, and then Corey Oswalt on Sunday. Jeremy Hellickson's been very refreshing for the Nats since he's come back from injury. But the Nats are 9-20 since their high water mark. They were 37-26 on the 9th of June, 9-20 since.
Murph's starting to hit.
Had 4 hits last night, sat today. He's hitting 250 now. Getting hot just in time to come here, right?
That was the changeup. He was trying to pull that there. Santana has good back control. Oh. Loves his seats.
Missed it. Bad aim.
I have to tell you something about sunflower seeds in a moment. This is very distressing. 3-2 coming. Little looper into left, and right there is Conforto to retire Santana 1 away. So I was down in the dugout today. They were doing some interviews for Chris Matchkowski's day.
Yeah.
And had some time down there to wait my turn. And of course, they have the sunflower seeds out in the dugout. Have you seen the rack of sunflower seeds in the dugout lately?
Lately, I have.
Most of the bags in that receptacle are one flavor. Dill pickle.
What?
Dill pickle sunflower seeds.
Oh, that's disgusting.
There's pistachio, sweet and salty.
I did not see those in there. There was barbecue. There was bacon ranch.
Really?
But half the supply were dill pickle. Fly ball deep right center off the bat of Nick Williams. Back toward the wall goes Bautista and Dendecker makes the catch. Herrera got back late, couldn't tag, and that's a long second out.
It's one of those, you make a mistake as a pitcher and you get the ball back. It's a good one. Williams just missed it.
You see the flags, Ronnie, particularly down the right field line by the scoreboard. Blowing out to left, little crosswind. Here's the pitch.
Just a slider in the middle of the plate.
Oh boy, he got away with it.
Yep.
If that wind is blowing in the opposite direction out to right field, that's adios.
Or if he pulls that ball a little more.
Yeah.
So 2 out. Herrera still at second. So the Phillies 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position. Scott Kingery flied out his first time up. Curveball in for a strike. Lead swing foul.
Dan Bellino, the home plate umpire, he gets behind Mesoraco like he's NASCAR drafting him. Right behind.
This generation's Shag Crawford.
Yeah.
Remember Shag? He was directly behind the catcher. He put his arm around the catcher.
He's got 2 hands on the back of Mesoraco for balance.
Oh, and 2 to Kingery. Slider just off the plate. 1 and 2. Michael Franco hitting 7th in the order would be next. Degrom threw just 15 pitches in the first 2 innings, but he's thrown 37 in the last inning and 2/3. 1-2 coming. Foul back that fastball at 98 miles an hour. That's where Degrom's topped out tonight.
It's interesting that Decker is a real good center fielder. I think has read about seeing the wind and feels the wind, because that's about as shallow you're going to see a center fielder.
One-two. Struck him out. High fastball from Degrom gets Kingery, and Jake does what Jake does best, strands a runner in scoring position. Michael Conforto at the top of the batting order will lead off for the Mets when they come to bat in the bottom of the 4th. Has he thrown a pitch this year that wasn't a high leverage pitch?
Nope.
I mean, it's always no score.
Tell it to Seaver.
He had 12 runs in Colorado, didn't he?
Yeah, that was one game.
Well, you asked me.
Yeah, but every situation's a high leverage situation in Colorado.
That's true.
Michael Conforto flying to center his first time up. And Vince Velasquez misses low, 2-0. Conforto, Bautista, and Flores in the fourth for New York.
I even had something for Jacob. Last 9 starts before this start, he had 28 runs, 12 of those in Colorado.
One-shot deal. Line shot, but right at the second baseman. Hernandez playing perfectly in the shift for the first out. Baseball's 2 biggest events of the summer back-to-back. The action begins at the Home Run Derby, ESPN, July 16th, 8 p.m. Eastern. Then catch baseball's biggest stars at the 89th MLB All-Star Game, July 17th on Fox. Coverage begins at 7:30 p.m. Now Bautista, who grounded to short his first time up. StatCast, powered by Amazon Web Services, provides you the display of the Phillies defense. Popped up. Santana coming down.
Oh, that's interference.
Runs into Bautista, so the batter's automatically out. It's the runner's responsibility to get out of the way of the fielder who's trying to field a ball, and Bautista made contact, so even had that ball dropped, he would have been called out.
Well, he was looking down. He didn't pick up Santana too late.
So the thing is here, if the odds are he's never going to drop it, but if he does drop it, it's a foul ball. But interference,
but he's still out.
Automatic. No, if he didn't hit him.
So, oh no, if he didn't hit him.
Right.
Yeah.
So he put his, like Ronnie said, he put his head down.
Now Wilmer, who fouled out to the catcher his first time up.
Usually Bautista's contact in the field is a little more to it.
Well, sometimes let's just say he's on the receiving end.
I thought I read in the paper today, and you know how I always love to read this date in baseball history.
Yeah.
Babe Ruth made his big league debut today. I forget the year.
1914.
He got the win. He was a pitcher, starting pitcher. He got pinch hit 4 in the 7th.
Right.
And the guy got the base hit, won 4-3.
Wow.
July 11th, 1914, at Fenway Park. But the shocking part is that nobody had figured out yet that he could hit. So they batted him 9th. He went 0 for 2, and they pinch hit for him in the 7th.
That's the ironic part.
Of course.
That was with the Boston Braves, right?
Red Sox.
Red Sox.
That's right, of course. What am I thinking?
He finished his career with the Braves.
Right. What am I thinking?
1-2 to Wilmer, and the breaking ball lined into left for a base hit. So that's the second Met hit, a 2-out single for Flores, who's now 5 for 10 in this series.
Hanging breaking ball. Wilmer stays right in.
By the way, the contemporaneous report on Ruth's debut in the Boston Globe, the reporter who wrote the story, Tim Murnane, observed that Ruth, quote, shaped up like a good batsman. So somebody had an eye for what might be to come.
So he had 2 good at bats, even though it was an 0 for 2 in the scorecard.
Love the way they turned the phrase in those days, right?
Those days, baseball was 2 words.
Yeah.
I don't know when that changed.
I don't know.
early in the 20th century. I'm not sure how early. Two 2-0 to Smith, who had a shallow fly ball to center, which Herrera misjudged and then made a diving catch on. Dom ahead in the count 2-0. He's only drawn one walk through his first 67 official at bats. And there's a knee-high strike, 2-1.
Well, it just seems like they've got Dominic more upright in his stance. I don't know if he's made that change or whatever. His hands are lower.
Yeah.
And he, I don't know, to me, doesn't look prepared to hit.
Keith, that's a good eye with Dom Smith. He is standing more upright. They've also moved him closer to the plate. He was running out of bat on the outside pitches, but they also felt, the coaching staff did, like he was too underneath balls, and by standing him up straight, he can really get more on top of baseballs. Dom Smith says that it's a work in progress, but he feels like it's really going to start to come now with this new setup.
Ooh.
2-2 from Velasquez, and Dom fouls off the fastball. Let's take a look ahead, brought to you by Wells Fargo. 4-game series with the Nats starts tomorrow night and takes us up to the All-Star break. After the break, the Mets will be at Yankee Stadium a week from Friday, and then back home to play the Padres. It'll be 19 straight games in New York.
Love it.
I'm all for it.
Love it.
You'll owe at the other end.
No, yeah. In like Labor Day, you mean?
It all evens out. 81 home, 81 road. This year you get the one extra game in New York because the Mets and Yankees are playing 6 times instead of 4.
Right. Got that late trip this year though to Chicago, San Francisco, Los Angeles.
That's the only trip left that's out of the time zone, right? The Eastern time zone. Sweet.
Wilmer gets set to run, 3-2, 2 out, and Smith reaches and fouls one off. Vince Velasquez has allowed just 2 singles. He hasn't walked a batter. Hasn't struck out a batter, which is unusual for him. He's a very high strikeout pitcher, almost 11 per 9 innings. And now he has his first strikeout as he takes care of Dom Smith to end the inning. A hit and 1 left after 4. Pitchers duel. Degrom, Velasquez, no score. fifth inning. He's allowed 3 singles. And a runner at second with nobody out in the fourth inning. Retired the next 3. Ho hum. Michael Franco leads off in the 5th for the Phillies. Grounded out his first time up on the first pitch he saw from Degrom. And again attacks the first one and fouls off the fastball. Franco with 2 home runs in this series, including the 3-run shot last night that laid Drew Gagnon low in his major league debut. Gagnon sent down today, by the way. Jacob Rame is back in the Mets bullpen.
Musical chair. Sorry, Gary. Musical chairs.
Every day.
Well, baseball's likely to set a record this year for most players used, as every team has gotten the idea. That's line to right, but right at Bautista. 1 out. So Ronnie was talking before about how Jacob Degrom self corrects during games when his mechanics are off, and Dave Island talked about how he helps in that regard.
Well, we talk about it prior to, like in our side sessions, and then in spring training. Hey, if you're missing here, this is why. If you're missing there, this is why. If your breaking ball is up in the zone, this is why. Whether maybe it's your front side that's coming open too soon or flying open, or maybe your lower half is you're leaving the rubber too soon. And Jake has gotten to understand, well, if he's missing in a certain spot with a certain pitch, he knows why. And it's one of 2 or 3 things. And I don't like to talk too much mechanically with him during the game, but I might just walk by while I sit on the bench and say, hey, stay back a little longer, or keep that front side in and go north-south, not east and west. And he'll just give me a nod, and he's focused, and he has it. And it's just like a quick catchphrase here, catchphrase there, and boom, he goes out there and he has it. So he's a special guy, as we've all seen.
This guy's down on strikes for the second out. Remember last year when Jake had those 2 really horrible starts in a row? One was in Texas. I forgot what the other one was. And it was mostly about him keeping a straight line to the plate. And it took a couple of go-rounds for him to figure it out. Whereas now it seems if he's not heading in the straight line, he's able to fix it immediately.
Well, you know, I should have mentioned that when I was talking about things that I've been impressed with this year in the Open. It's not only self-correcting, but there have been some games where he hasn't been able to self-correct, because that'll happen sometimes. You just cannot get it, and he'll figure out different ways to get hitters out. For example, there's been maybe 3 or 4 starts this year that I even heard him the next day say, my fastball command away was garbage. And that game was 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, or whatever it was. He just doesn't let those kind of things defeat him, and it can defeat other pitchers.
Hit hard past Smith and down the line off the bat of Andrew Knapp. He'll head to second, takes a turn and stops. Ball gets loose briefly, but Reyes backs it up. It's a 2-out double for Andrew Knapp, the first extra base hit for either side tonight.
Just out of the reach. That ball was ripped, by the way.
So Knapp, the number 9 hitter, at second base with 2 out. And here's Cesar Hernandez, who grounded a single into right his last time up, 1 for 2. First pitch curveball in for a strike. Last 14 starts, so that's since the middle of April. 1.39 ERA, and yet the Mets are 4-10.
You can't find any math equation that will come up with that. Just can't.
Well, it's a 2-pronged thing, right? It's not enough offense and leaky bullpen, and occasionally some defensive problems.
Well, that's 3-pronged.
Yeah, that would be 3. I take it back. And Mesoraco needs a moment.
He doesn't like nap the opposing catcher on second base. He's thinking maybe something going on.
Yeah.
We were talking about it before up here in between innings that Herrera was on second base doing some nutty stuff. You never know with him. So maybe change the sign.
Yep. Surprised none of the middle infielders came in to make sure.
This is Herrera the last inning. Now that could mean nothing.
You don't know with him.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it seemed a little obvious, right?
Yes.
To be giving signs in
Yep.
that fashion. Fly ball right center field, deep in the gap. Dedecker on the run. He'll get there, and he runs it down. Nice to have a center fielder in center field. Dedecker, nice running play. Made it look easy. Lagares-esque. No problem. Still no score. We're going to the bottom of the fifth inning on a beautiful night in New York. At the New Yorker.
The New Yorker building that's no longer the New Yorker.
Right. Spectrum high-speed pitch. Sorry, Vince. Not tonight.
Although he's been good, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. He's given up just 2 singles over the first 4 innings, just 51 pitches. Devin Mesoraco leads off in the home fifth and swings and misses at a slider. Mesoraco hit a fly ball in the left field corner that Hoskins caught in the second inning. Velasquez's first start back for the disabled list after getting contused on the forearm by a line drive against the Nationals. So it's his first outing in 11 days. The best part about that, first of all, that he wasn't badly hurt.
Yeah.
But second of all, that after getting hit in the forearm, that he picked the ball up and threw to first base left-handed. Just don't see that very often.
Ron, I have a question for you. The last little half inning, we were with Island.
First, this is the Adam Eaton line.
Oh, yes. Threw it left-handed.
And while in great pain.
Off that elbow.
Fortunately, it did hit right on the elbow, was slightly above, which probably cost him a longer trip to the DL.
Steve Gelb's interview with Dave Island. And the one thing that curious about. He said the three things that Jacob has to watch. He said his leaving his foot from the mound too soon. What does that mean?
Yeah, it means jumping off the rubber, which means when you get at the top of your motion, you need a pause and then a beautiful flow towards the plate.
Ooh, Mesoraco lost his footing.
What will happen sometimes that you'll end up getting in a bad habit where you're jumping at the hitter and it's not a beautiful flow towards the hitter.
Very little flow here.
Yeah, no flow here.
Oh boy.
And that just means it would be the equivalent of a hitter being too quick with his front side. It's equivalent of that.
Devin looks like he's okay after that stumble.
Yeah. Devin tends to overswing. He's got a good power swing, and he lets it rip.
Matt Dendecker up for the second time, fly to left his first time up.
Well, I'd sure like to see the Mets get Degrom a run. I'll take one.
I think he wants it more than you. You will get caught cheerleading a little bit when you're in this kind of stretch where your team is struggling, where you'll kind of talk under your breath, make sure no one can hear, and go, come on, guys, just give me one. Give me one. I got good stuff tonight. But you know what? You always have to remember, no one's ever gone to the plate not trying to get a hit. No team has ever gone into a game not trying to score runs.
And the last thing any team needs is fingers pointing in different directions.
No, that's the worst thing that can happen.
Dendecker rolls one slowly. In comes Hernandez, and he boots it. Against Dendecker's speed, Hernandez let it slip by. An error gives the Mets a one-out base run.
Well, he hustled down the line, Dendecker, yes, but this is routine. And he just didn't get down.
It was almost like he's trying to get rid of it before he caught it. See how he was going to let go of it from down under, where Wilmer went over the top, but he didn't do it either. So a couple of misplays on the same ball.
Been like the Bermuda Triangle at second base. Seventh error of the year for Hernandez. So here's Rosario, who had the Mets' first hit, a dunker down the right field line his first time up. Dendecker activated today, took Kevin Kazmarski's spot on the 25-man roster, but they had to get Dendecker on the 40-man roster as well. And this was a little shocking when it came down right before the game today. In order to make room for Dendecker on the 40, the Mets have released pitcher Marcus Molina. Now, Marcus Molina, we saw him in spring training this year, and he was going into the season the Mets' number 8 prospect. He was having a terrible year, split between Binghamton and Las Vegas. His ERA was almost 7, but he's 23 years old.
Yeah.
And he's had some, some arm problems. He had Tommy John surgery a few years ago. But that's a little shocking that you would release a 23-year-old pitcher out of your organization, a guy who was that highly thought of going into the season.
Is that the first sign of someone else at the helm that has a different opinion about Molina than maybe Sandy did before he exited? I don't know.
It's an interesting question. I don't know. But I do know that, obviously he was having a rough go of it, but teams don't usually give up on their prospects like that. Dendecker takes off, and Rosario fouls it off.
That looked like almost like a hit and run.
And the other piece to that is what the Mets could have easily done. They could have put Cespedes on the 60-day. He's been out for 58 days, which means that they could have put him on the 60, and he's not coming back in the next week anyway. But clearly they went out of their way to release Molina, which certainly raises a big red flag.
Well, maybe he got, I mean, it's purely speculative, we don't know, but maybe he got in a serious doghouse.
He would certainly appear as though something transpired. 1-1 to Rosario, and he lifts one foul.
"58 days. I didn't realize that till you just said it.
May 13th.
58 days.
And counting.
May 13th, the last time he played.
Say he's going to play some minor league rehab games during the All-Star week.
Maybe if he's ready. Right now he's only running in a straight line. They haven't had him run the bases or really do much in the outfield. So he's, you know, he's getting there, but he's not ready yet.
Then Decker has a pretty good lead. He takes the lead with a little right foot and right hip open to second base. Like he wants to run. Why not? Do something.
1-2 coming. Grounded is short. Kingery to Hernandez. Too late to first to get Rosario. Ball just not hit hard enough. So they get the second out on the 6-4 force on Dendecker. So now Reyes, who fouled out to third base his first time up. We need somebody to go back and check how many times this year the Mets have been involved in scoreless games in the 5th inning.
Yeah.
It's got to be like a quarter of the games, right?
Feels like
it. Or does it just seem like that?
It feels like it. But I think that's an epidemic around baseball. I'm not saying scoreless games, but you know, there's an inordinate amount of no hitters through 5 innings this year.
We've already seen one on this homestand.
Oh, Ronnie, but the pitchers are throwing so hard today, and they make the ball move.
That, in case you didn't know, is a reference to an article that was in The Athletic yesterday or the day before, talking about why hitters can't hit the ball to the left side to beat the shift.
To the open side where no one's playing.
Right.
Which, by the way, The Athletic just keeps on putting out really, really wonderful articles.
Well, they interviewed Kyle Seager of the Mariners,
right.
Daniel Murphy, and Matt Carpenter. And, you know, they all said some similar things about not wanting to settle for singles, feeling as though because the pitchers are so good, it's hard to put 3 hits together to score a run, that they'd rather try for doubles even at the expense of hitting the ball into the shift. Of course, they're trying to hit the ball over the shift.
Yeah.
That's the goal, it would appear, for most of them. Rosario takes off. The throw by Knapp, and he's out at second base. Nice throw by Andrew Knapp.
Even better tag by Kingery. I don't know if it was on time or not, but Kingery with a quick snap tag.
Well, that's pretty close.
I think he got him, though.
I think he did. I think it's not going to turn that over.
Yeah, the Mets are not going to challenge the call.
That's a snap tag by Kingery.
That is
outstanding.
Beautiful tag.
So that gets Velasquez around the error and keeps this a scoreless game going to the 6th. Sixth inning, no score. Words that Jacob Degrom is very familiar with. Rhys Hoskins leading off for the Phillies in the sixth. And Jake falls behind him 2-0. Hoskins 0 for 2. Grounded out both times. Let's see. First pitch swing, 40% of plate appearances tonight, 28% for the season. So it just shows you the shift in their game plan, although they've been a lot more patient through the middle of the game than they were the first couple of innings. And now a 3-0 count for Degrom. And borderline strike, 3-1. Odubel Herrera on deck, and then Carlos Santana for the Phillies in the sixth. Phillies have 4 hits, Mets have 2. Degrom up to 70 pitches for the night. And Hoskins takes inside, and that's the first walk Jake's given up tonight. Let's check in with the studio. Eamon McEnany has a game break brought to you by your Tri Honda dealers. And All-Star Mike Foltynewicz on the mound for the Braves, who have lost 6 of 7 to fall a game behind the Phillies. Leadoff man on for the second time tonight for Philadelphia, and Odubel Herrera, who reached on an infield hit in the 4th. Bats with Hoskins at first and nobody out. Goes after a first pitch changeup, 0-1.
Always the wild card in this lineup. If you're facing the Phillies, Herrera, very hard to figure out how to pitch him. You get ahead, yeah, you can climb the ladder. But boy, you can throw some pitches where he is not supposed to hit him, and he'll hit a bullet.
A first ball fastball hitter. He's looking to get that ball and put it in play.
It's hard to twist your body like that.
Just get him out. Get him out upstairs all day long.
And Wilmer will grab it. Herrera did not run more than about 35 feet to first base with the bat in his hand.
That's what he does.
If Wilmer had let that ball drop, the Mets maybe could have gotten a double play.
Too high, hard to let it drop, but
you're getting paid a lot of money, young man. You run to touch the bag.
Those are the kinds of things for which Herrera has been benched before. 1 out and 1 out. There's Carlos Santana, who's been up twice and flied out both times.
aesthetically, you're trying to teach your kids how to play the game at home, and then you see this and you're like, well, don't watch that.
Well, what do you do if you're a young kid on the bench? You know, the manager doesn't do anything about it. So if he can do it, well, I guess I can.
I saw a game on Sunday in Milwaukee against Braves. Ender Inciarte did not run out, pop up just like that. And in the next inning, he did not go to center field. Danny Santana went out there. Brian Snitker benched him. So it does still happen.
It does happen. And as I said, it happened with Herrera when Pete McCann was the manager.
Right.
He sat him down for lackadaisical play. Santana just 1 for 10 in this series, but he's drawn 6 walks. That's a big part of his game. He's hitting just .215 for the year, but his on base percentage right where it always is, .363. And he goes down swinging on a high slider. 4th strikeout for Degrom.
Upstairs gas. Santana hasn't really done much in this series. He's walked a lot, but boy, do you want your cleanup hitter to walk that much? Especially with a lineup as challenged as this.
It's been an interesting night in terms of the strikeouts. You got 2 pitchers who average right around 11 strikeouts per 9 innings. We're in the 6th tonight. Degrom has 4 and Velasquez has 2.
Well, I think it's the approach that Philadelphia had early that took out any big strikeout game.
Nick Williams hit a fly ball to the warning track in center field his last time up. Fouls one off his leg, and it's 0-2.
So Williams is a dangerous hitter because he's got that uppercut. He's a lefty, so he likes that ball low. He's got that lift swing. He can be pitched to. He's hitting what, 256, and he's raised that average a lot in this series. He's had a good series, so he came in hitting below 250. So the guy that can be pitched to, 11 home runs, but he's dangerous.
2 of the 3 games he had good games. The game he did not, he swung at a lot of fastballs up around the letters.
So you'd certainly expect to see Degrom trying to exploit that.
I would think so.
Absolutely. That's his bread and butter.
Goes away. Trying to backdoor the slider, and it's 1-2.
That's 2 sliders he's thrown to Williams in this at bat. I'm very surprised because that's what the pitch he threw that Williams almost left the yard with. Fastball up. There's the call.
And up and in, causing his knees to buckle. 2-2. So we got a number. It's the 9th time this year the Mets have had a game scoreless through 5. So a 10th of the games.
That's a lot of games.
Tonight, game number 90 for the Mets. 2-2 coming.
Oh,
On the outside corner, he got him looking. Back-to-back strikeouts for Degrom to finish off the top of the 6th. 6 scoreless for Degrom. Still no lead. Home 6th inning, Jose Reyes leads off against Vince Velasquez. He was at the plate when Rosario was caught stealing to end the 5th, and a first pitch curveball misses, ball 1. Jacob Degrom on deck, and then Michael Conforto for the Mets in the 6th. Reyes had a really good second half last year after a dreadful start. This year trying to pull himself out of an even bigger hole with less playing time, although recently he's been playing more. 5 straight starts now with Frazier on the disabled list again. Velasquez flies one out to left, chasing Hoskins back to the edge of the warning track. 1 out.
Ball's traveling a little better that way.
You know, there's been a lot of questions with the Mets done as far as postseason consideration is concerned. Why Reyes is getting playing time and why Jeff McNeil, who has asserted himself this year in both AA and AAA, has not gotten an opportunity yet.
18 and 64 home runs and RBI.
I mean, he had never done anything like that before. He had 9 home runs in his entire minor league career before the season.
I did see the career 300 hitter
Right.
in the minor leagues. So,
but he's obviously had the best year of his career. He had some injuries. He's made some adjustments. But the answer, when Mickey Callaway was asked that question the other day, and obviously it's not his decision whether to bring a player up, but his immediate answer was, well, we see McNeil strictly as a second baseman, and right now we have a second baseman. Of course, if you look at McNeil's record, he's played 185 games at third base. Now, whether the Mets have made the judgment that that is not a position he can play in the major leagues, I don't know. But that's the pronouncement that was made when the question was asked.
well, you're dying for some offense.
Well, the one thing you can be fairly certain of is that in 3 weeks this team's going to look completely different.
Yes.
And I think that's what John Ricco said, and I take him at his word. There's going to be a lot of movement on this team before the trading deadline. And certainly Cabrera is a prime candidate to be traded with an expiring contract. Jerry's Familia falls in that category too. Question then becomes, do you start trading the guys over whom you have years of control? That's the question. 3-2 coming to Degrom, and he hits one out to left, and Hoskins again has to retreat and gets there for the second out.
That's these tough decisions.
And obviously starting with Degrom, he's the most valuable piece, and whether the Mets would even consider a deal or whether it would take the moon, the stars, and all the heavens for the Mets to move him.
This is the first year that in our, what do you call it, press dining, food room, whatever we call it, whatever it is in there, and other ones around the road, that scouts who are mostly my age, guys I played against, have been coming up and asking me about Mets players. What do you think about this guy? This guy. It's very interesting.
Shoot, they haven't asked me.
You're too busy in here preparing, working.
Here's the way I look at it. I think that the asking price on Degrom is going to be so high it's almost going to be impossible for any team to meet it.
Agreed.
Syndergaard's going to come back to pitch Friday, and that's going to give him 3 starts before the trading deadline, 4 starts maybe.
Yeah.
So, you know, then the question becomes, do you even consider trading a guy that young over whom you have 3 more years of control? And would you even get anything close to full value because he's pitched so little the last year and a half? So I think the guys who are more likely to be traded are the next 2 guys.
Matz and Wheeler.
Yeah. Because they've both established now that they can be effective big league pitchers. They've both taken major strides forward this year. So I would think that their value has never been higher.
Never been higher, and also the team of trying to acquire them would not have to give up the sun, the moon, and the sea.
Exactly. And yet they'd still have at least 1 more year of control on both of them. There's ball 4, and Conforto's on with a 2-out walk. First walk given up by Velasquez. But whatever happens, there's going to be multiple big league players moved, which is going to provide opportunities for any deserving minor leaguers the Mets have at the top of their system, including the aforementioned Mr. McNeil. So what is this with Dan Bellino?
It's pretty interesting. One, he's recording the visit, but he paid a visit out there because he probably missed 3 strikes from Velasquez and Conforto walked. and Velasquez wasn't happy, and the catcher Knapp wasn't happy. He was talking to Bellino, so Knapp's trying to probably calm Velasquez down. Listen, we're in a 0-0 game here. Don't get crazy out here. Let me handle it behind the plate. But at least 2 of the pitches were strikes, and Bellino didn't call them. I think Velasquez is the kind of pitcher that can get hot under the collar. It's one of the things that makes him good, because he's a great competitor, but can work against you too.
So now Bautista with Conforto at first and 2 out. Jose has grounded to short and fouled out to first, 0 for 2.
Mike Foltynewicz was like that. Kind of a real competitor, but a guy would get hot under the collar, and he's really championed that this year, and that's why he's having such a good year. All-star year, right? I know, because I used to simmer inside, and you had to just, as soon as it's done, give it up and go on.
Well, Matz has made a lot of progress in that regard as well this year.
That's almost like a switch got flipped, right?
Yeah.
He got a little bit of a routine to go through when he gets into difficult situations.
It's hard to be consistent when you don't consistently go out on the mound, and that's what he's proven this year. Taking the ball every 5th day, and the results are coming.
Top 10 in the National League in ERA. I don't think a lot of people even realize that. Bautista with a big cut, fouls back the fastball, 1 and 2.
Boy, he challenged him there. Velasquez just threw it as hard as he could. He got the ball fouled by Bautista.
I don't think he took too kindly to Bautista coming across home plate there. He kind of gave him a glance back.
I'm telling you, he's a competitor. I like it.
Montclair, California native. 2nd round draft pick by the Astros in 2010. There goes Conforto. Bautista strikes out, inning over. Just the 3rd strikeout tonight for Velasquez.
Yeah, a little staring by Velasquez at Bautista. He didn't like it.
Up and in challenge.
Still no score at Citi Field. Seventh inning. Jacob Degrom and Vince Velasquez locked up in a pitcher's duel. Scott Kingery leading off for the Phils in the 7th. He's flied to center and struck out. 5 strikeouts for Degrom, including his last 2 batters in the 6th. Kingery fouls one straight back, 0-2.
Keith just pointed out that Cleveland scored 14 runs. They're not used to Cleveland getting 14 of anything in that town, are they?
Well, they blew a big lead last night on Bauer, didn't they?
Well, you know what happened last night there, and I'm thinking 14 runs is probably enough for them to overcome the bullpen miscommunication.
Yeah.
So they called down to the bullpen, and Tito wants Oliver Perez to get up to be ready for Joey Votto.
So he told Carl Willis, who went to the phone.
And they call Oliver Perez in Cleveland OP. And they have a right-handed reliever, Dan Otero, who they call OT. So Tito asked for OP, but they got OT up. So when Votto came up, they had the right-hander Otero come in to face him. And Votto had a 3-run double, and the Reds won the game.
Listen, no one calls Oliver Perez OP. He's Ollie.
Ollie.
Let's go.
Well, you know, it's been a long time since he played here. I think we need to send some Ollie knowledge around the league. I'm thinking at 14-0, it shouldn't be an issue tonight.
Gosh. 17 now. 17.
They had the field goal. Go Browns.
Well, Cincinnati scored 7 runs in the 9th inning, and Bauer left with 8 innings shutout ball.
Just off the corner, 2-2 to Kingery.
Red Sox keep marching on. Jeez, who's throwing the shutout for them?
Sale tonight.
One for 9 straight tonight. 2-2 coming, and the curveball lined right to Rosario. Don't know why he jumped, but he caught it. 1 out. Let's check in with the studio. Eamon McEnany has another game break.
Oh.
The rookie Freddie Peralta has been pretty untouchable.
Yes, he has.
He hung a curveball there, didn't he? I'm so glad I can see those highlights now in game. Now, all these years, folks, we got this TV up above us. All these years, and it's flat against the wall, and so I can't see it from this angle. It's dark. And Al comes over here after all these years, Al down there, and he adjusts it like I had no idea. I had no idea. Oops.
Oh, now he just turned it off.
No,
Great.
No.
Oh, baby.
No, don't touch it anymore.
There we go.
Keith.
Oh, wait, you go.
Franco hits one hard. That goes through the hole. So 2 hard hit balls to start the 7th inning against Degrom. And Franco's aboard with 1 out. It's the 5th Philadelphia hit.
Franco's having quite a series, isn't he?
He is a threat. He steps in the bucket. He likes that ball in.
And that's going to be all for Vince Velasquez. Yesmuel Valentin will bat for him.
Well,
So Velasquez is out after 6 scoreless innings.
coming off an injury, getting that contusion.
85 pitches.
I understand that.
Yep.
Pat Neshek up in the bullpen.
Impressive outing by Velasquez.
Valentin's had 2 at-bats in this series off the bench, struck out in both. Franco at first base, no threat to run. And Valentin takes a first pitch curveball for a strike. Yesmuel Valentin, son of former Met Jose Valentin. It's Velasquez. Work done for the night. Just 2 hits allowed over 6 innings.
Well, I think the Phillies, now that they've gotten into first place, that'll be one place they go. They got Trevor Plouffe, dropped Cousins down to AAA, try to make that bench a little stronger.
Watch SNY Mets games on the go on any device with live streaming presented by Verizon. Just visit SNY.TV or download the NBC Sports app today for live streaming coverage of every SNY Mets game. Valentin, the only left-handed available bat on the Phillies bench tonight. Degrom has walked 1. He struck out 5, allowed no runs and 5 hits. He's tried that backdoor slider, what, about a half dozen times?
Yeah, and it's worked once.
Yeah.
He's missed with it all night.
Well, he went upstairs on 0-2. And now on 2-2, he comes inside and misses in a full count.
Valentin is unlike most pinch hitters. When he comes in, he's eyeballing you. Most pinch hitters are very aggressive. He is not. Ruben Amaro telling the infielders, be alive. They might send Franco here.
Boy, that sure risks the strike him out, throw him out.
I would send him in this kind of game.
Not going. Valentin lifts one to shallow center. Dendecker got a late start, and he slides and makes the catch. Beautifully done by Dendecker after a slow start. He takes a blue pit away from Valentin for the second out. That's a good night out there in his return to the Mets.
Oh boy, that's as close as it gets. Nicely done. Well, he can pick it. Very athletic. I really thought that he was going to be the center fielder of the future. I thought he had a chance.
The Phillies were thinking of replaying it, and now they're giving him the opportunity, Kapler, to talk to the home plate umpire.
I think, I mean, the way he's bringing the home plate umpire over, maybe their phone is out. That might be the issue.
Okay.
And now they're saying they do want a challenge. Phillies have already won a challenge, but this one certainly appeared to be a clean catch.
If it's not, you got a runner on first base. Gary, what's the ruling?
It's up to the discretion of the umpires to place the runners. I mean, the ball didn't get by him, so there's no way he would have gone to third. So you'd have to put him at second. But he caught the ball.
But do you want?
I would, and I don't know if they'll tell you they're smart enough to think this way, but it's not a bad bit of gamesmanship.
Make Degrom wait a while.
Yeah.
Well, that's a close. But what do you want? Do you want Franco on first base or Valentin?
Closer call than we
So
thought,
what you're saying, Keith, is you're saying that if he had trapped the ball and that was the call, he would have gotten a force at second.
Yeah, because he didn't kick it.
That's an outstanding call, and I don't think there's any leeway in the rules for that.
No.
I mean, you can't assume that he would have gotten the force.
What's his name? Excuse me, the back runner.
Franco.
I mean, Franco was going back to first base. I mean, you can look at Franco. He's going to get out of the picture here. He's going halfway. But here's the throw back. Look where he's at. So that's a force out. He didn't kick it.
I totally agree with that.
That's not
but
going to
I don't
happen
think there's any provision for that unless he actually threw the ball to second base after catching it. But who would do that? I still think he caught it. I mean, the ball hit in the glove.
I think
it didn't ever hit the grass.
Okay, here I don't know this rule, so I'm going to ask. If any part of the ball, let's say 9/10 of the ball hits the glove, and a smidgen of the ball touches green, is it a catch?
No.
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 Yeah.
But I don't think the ball hit the green.
Smidgen?
I don't think so. It hit the finger of the glove.
Oh. Well, I don't.
The glove is under the ball the entire time.
Just trying to be the contrarian.
No, I understand that, but I don't see any evidence that the ball was at any time on the ground. But they're taking a while, so you never know. Jerry Davis and Alfonso Marquez are the crew chiefs in the bunker. But I also buy your theory, Ronnie. This is not good for Degrom at this point of the game.
No, it's good gamesmanship if they were thinking about that.
Okay, let's not have a joke about it. Let's get the call.
Where's Phil Cuzzy?
You got a guy out there with.
And
yes,
they do
okay.
confirm it. He knew he caught it. So 2 out. Franco's still at first. And now Andrew Knapp, who has the only extra base hit in this game, a double down the right field line his last time up.
He had a big hit, I think a walk-off hit for the Phillies, Citizens Bank Park, on a high fastball. So you have to be careful there if you're Degrom.
Let's get bullpen action going. Gazelman up. High fastball from Degrom to get ahead on Knapp. And Knapp swings through that fastball, and it's 0-2.
Just keep it up there. You can't touch it with that uppercut.
Whereas a pitcher, you can see Degrom reaching back for a little extra. 97 in the 7th.
100th pitch upcoming. Line right back to Degrom. He spears it to retire the side. 7 scoreless innings for Degrom. Groundhog Day.
What do?
Run to first.
You gotta give me a dirty look at least.
But you didn't do it on purpose.
An all-new episode of the SNY.TV digital series, The Amazing Life, presented by Coca-Cola. Watch it at SNY.TV/Coca-Cola.
Folks, that was so exasperating working with Brandon on that commercial.
Pat Neshek in for the 2nd time in this series.
Yeah, he pitched a game in the doubleheader. Gave a hit in an innings pitched.
2-time All-Star, now with his 7th different major league team. Wilmer Flores leads off and skies one to center field. Herrera hops to his right. 1 pitch and 1 out for Neshek in the 7th. Jacob Degrom, 7 scoreless innings. Looks like he may not be done yet.
Can't take him out of this, Wago.
I mean, you got the All-Star break coming up. Why wouldn't you let him go a few more pitches? Mets box score presented by Tri-Acura. 2 skinny singles, Rosario and Flores, and that's that. Dominic Smith is 0 for 2. Fly to center, struck out. Takes a fastball strike from Neshek. I mean, there was a day when if your ace pitcher pitched the Wednesday before the All-Star break, you might well use him in relief Saturday or Sunday.
That's right. I used to love that. Get down there in that bullpen and try to vulture a win.
Last guy I recall the Mets doing that with was R.A. Dickey, and if I recall correctly, it didn't go well. Jake probably will get himself an inning in the All-Star game next Tuesday, and then his next real start won't be for at least 9 days. So why wouldn't you push him a little further?
Well, if the bullpen is out of play for the weekend, yes, you push him. You push him to 115, 120. Yeah.
Why not? I mean, he's thrown 115 this year. He's at 100 right now. Jerry Blevins is up in the bullpen.
I mean, I'm not going to tell you the result's going to change, but
yeah, at least it gives it one more crack to get him a lead.
Yeah.
One and two to Smith with Mesoraco on deck, and Dom pops one up. Who's going to get there? Knapp hustling and makes the grab.
Oh, that's a good play.
With nobody playing within the vicinity of third base, it was up to Knapp to do it himself, and he did it well.
You know, the pitchers still have not realized that it'd be very nice, instead of pointing, to kind of hustle over there. Because even if you can't catch it, you can direct your catcher, give him a little help.
Andrew Knapp.
Didn't need it.
Cal Berkeley guy.
Didn't need any. He figured out the vectors and everything, where the ball is going to end up.
It was Mesoraco.
Wind factor, height of the ball.
You're saying those Berkeley guys, they've got some between the ears.
Wicked smart guys.
Isn't that where you were going to go, Keith?
Yes, I was going to go to Berkeley. I wanted to go to Stanford. I didn't have the grades.
Not worthy of the farm.
Oh, I didn't have the grades. I mean, I had a B- average. You know, I was a good student, not a great student, and you know, I got in on scholarship.
Coach couldn't push you through. Mesoraco pops one to shallow center, and Herrera has it. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Neshek. And Degrom's coming back out to pitch the 8th. Still no score.
You're just lucky I didn't go to Navy or Air Force.
City Field. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Jim Beam, the official bourbon of the New York Mets.
Cesar Hernandez leads off in the 8th inning and takes a first pitch curveball for a strike. Why is that curveball so effective first pitch, but he doesn't use it as a put-away pitch?
Well, he can't put it. The curveball is a back door to the left-hand hitter, Garrett, and it's a little take something off of it, and you kind of throw it on the back door in the outside corner. It's not a good pitch to hit your first pitch as a hitter. His slider, the hard one, the back door to a left-hander, is his out pitch.
Changeup misses, 2-1.
I mean, I'm not going to swing at a curveball outside corner knees. Slow curve
off a guy that throws 98.
First pitch, I'm not.
But with 2 strikes.
Am I going to look for a slow curve off Degrom? No, I'm not going to. With 2 strikes, you got to protect. But first pitch, you know, okay, fine, I'll take it. If I'm 0-1, I'm 0-1.
I mean, he throws that pitch almost always for a strike.
That's right.
When he throws it first pitch, and it's almost always taken.
In his work.
Strike 3 called as Hernandez is caught looking. That's 6 now for Degrom.
That pitch is designed to throw for a strike. It's not designed to put a hitter away.
And designed to be taken.
That's right.
I mean, also, too, what sets it up, but Degrom is a power pitcher. He's coming after you the hard stuff. He throws that little slow one on you, but, you know, you're going to have to spit on it.
Tip your cap.
I don't mean that literally, folks.
Well, nothing wrong with that. Rhys Hoskins 0 for 2 in a walk tonight. The only walk Degrom's given up. He's given up 5 hits. That ERA keeps sinking.
Sure does.
And the win total remains stagnant. That's at the knees for a strike, and it's 1-1. Hoskins pulls one down to third. Reyes in front of it. 2 out. SNY's Super Slow Motion is brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. Here's Odubel Herrera. He had an infield single and stole a base to start the 4th. That was the heaviest lifting Degrom had tonight. Runner at second, nobody out, but he got the next 3 hitters. At 109 pitches, his season high is 116. It was against the Cubs. 7 innings, 1 run, no decision. They're all the same.
They're the same.
Slash foul, and it's 1-1.
With Chris Maczkowski throughout the first pitch, we should have Bill Murray throughout the first pitch when Degrom pitches. Groundhog Day.
Can he bring Ned Ryerson?
Stay out of the puddle.
First step's a doozy. 1-1. And the slider misses down. 2-1. Takes a big cut at a slider at his feet, and it's 2-2.
He went fishing for the slider. He sitting on that fastball, looking to try to win, to put this team ahead with 1 swing.
Degrom looking for the big finish. Two to Herrera. Struck him out. A master at the top of his craft.
Upstairs, gas attack.
One more brilliant outing for Degrom before the All-Star break. Motion is brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. Tonight's starters brought to you by People's United Bank. Nary a run allowed. Vince Velasquez went 6. Jacob Degrom has gone 8, presumably done after 113 pitches. It lowers Degrom's earned run average to 1.68. The best first half ERA in Mets history, as Victor Arano comes in, belonged to Doc Gooden, who was also at 1.68 at the All-Star break in 1985. Matt Dendecker takes a strike. However, if you take it out to one more digit, Doc was 1.677. Degrom is 1.678.
Still the king. Can't usurp the throne.
But the regent is moving up.
Wow,
just historically brilliant.
Yes. Get a run for him. Come on, guys.
Yeah, that's been a bit of a problem. Dendecker's 0 for 2 in his first game for the Mets in 4 years. That was with the Mets in 13 and 14. Was with the Nats in 15 and 16. Briefly a Tiger last year.
Well, I said it about Dwight in '85, and it's a stolen from a golf term that Arnold Palmer said about Jack Nicklaus. He said he plays a game I'm not familiar with. Pop up here from Dendecker.
Kingery calling. 1 out.
I said it about Dwight Gooden in '85. He pitches in a way that I'm not familiar with. I'd say the same thing, even though it's a different game now. Exact same thing about Degrom in this first half.
And the thing is that Doc did it with 2 pitches.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's more impressive, being able to do it with 2 pitches or being able to command 4 pitches the way Degrom does.
True.
It's a good point. That just shows how overpowering Doc was. I mean, that curveball was electric.
Familia getting ready in the bullpen. Rosario takes a slider out of the strike zone. Ball 1. Rosario has one of the Mets' 2 hits. He had a fly ball single down the right field line in the 3rd. The only other hit, Wilmer Flores, singled in the 4th. Way too many nights like this for this Mets offense.
Always the separation for Dwight, though, is that he went 41 and 13 in those first 2 years with a Rookie of the Year and a Cy Young at 19 and 20 years old. That's the separator.
That's a good point, Ronnie.
So
that one.
1.53 for the season. That's pretty good.
Degrom might be there.
Well, if he keeps going this way. But 1.68 is pretty darn impressive.
We've been hearing a lot about Rosario's cutting down on his swing. They're trying to model his swing a little bit after Wilmer Flores. Short and close, short and quick to the ball. 2 big swings there in this scoreless game.
But at least not swinging at balls. That's the progress that he's made.
Yeah.
2-2 from Arano. He tops the slider foul.
Well, the interesting part. What do they call it now? Bat to ball skills. It means you know, good hand-eye coordination. If he swings at strikes, he makes contact.
Right. I mean, his chase rate was ridiculous the first couple of months of the season, but it's down a tick, and that's helpful. Foul out of play. I'm shocked at how much to the opposite field they're playing him in the outfield.
Yeah.
Especially after he hit those 2 triples to left field yesterday.
Yes. They were hanging breaking balls on the triples. That is a little of an exaggerated shift, a little bit too much. But I think they're pitching them away, basically. The sliders away.
But this is what drew Arrieta's ire.
7th pitch of the at bat coming from Arano, and Rosario tried to stop it, and he did, and now it's 3-2. Well, you'd love to get Rosario on here if he can walk, get a base hit, whatever. Maybe a chance to steal a base.
Good call by Tom Hallion, first base umpire.
Reyes on deck, then the pitcher spot. And that's ball 4. So Rosario able to lay off the pitches out of the strike zone, and he draws a 1-out walk. So let's see how the Mets play this. Does Reyes give Rosario a couple of pitches to steal a base? Asdrubal Cabrera out of the lineup today because of a slight hyperextended elbow, ready to pinch hit.
Fan scouting should tell you if Arano has a good move, slow to the plate, slow move there. What you have to do if you're a base runner is take a big lead, one-way lead. What's that mean? That you're leaning towards first base because you want to draw the throw from Arano. See if he's got any kind of move.
Rosario was caught stealing in the 5th inning tonight. He's now been caught 5 out of 9 attempts. That's not good.
If Arano has a good move, he hasn't shown it yet.
I think, though, with this team right now, you have to push the envelope.
Yeah, I agree.
Reyes hit a deep fly ball to left his last time up. He's 0 for 2.
I know that Reyes hasn't hit all year long, but I bet you if you put a hit and run on, he could get it done, put it in play, but it's not going to happen. And sometimes you get the hit and run, Gary, it makes you focus more because you've got to make contact, you've got to protect the runner. But this is just a lost art in the game today.
He's running. Fly ball center field. Herrera got a late start back, but he'll get there. And Rosario retreats to first. 2 out.
He had a good jump too. He had that pillow stolen.
So now Cabrera to pinch hit.
This is a straight steal. He heard the crack of the bat when he looked back. Hit and run, you can forget it. Put it in the vaults.
Cabrera 2 for 8 in this series with a double and a home run. Toronto's already given up a home run in this series. That was the walk-off to Flores on Monday.
Well, one thing's good. There's 2 outs. He'll be breaking on the Rosario will break on the crack of the bat, and a gapper extra base hit's going to score him.
He's running. Pitch is hard to handle, and Rosario steals the base. First pitch slider, and Knapp had to reach into the feet of Cabrera.
Well, you got to like the energy that Rosario has had the last 2 nights.
So that's his 5th stolen base of the year. And now a single could give the Mets the lead. First time the Mets have had a runner as far as second base all night. Cabrera 1 for 6 as a pincher this year. The 1 was a home run. And now he's going to be intentionally walked. And that'll get Conforto to the plate with 2 men on.
Wow. Whew.
No, there's no question who the hotter hitter is.
Yep. I don't disagree.
Oh, I'm gonna bring in a lefty.
Yeah, they've got the lefty ready in the bullpen for Conforto. Adam Morgan, the veteran left-hander.
And your right-handed bench is Poecki and Kelly.
Call to the bullpen brought to you by Verizon. Mets with 2 aboard in the 8th in a scoreless game. We'll be right back. Provide a little light of their own as left-hander Adam Morgan comes in to face Conforto.
Well, Adam Morgan started off the season really hot, but 11 earned runs in his last 8 1/3 innings pitched.
He, if memory serves, started the game against the Mets a couple of years ago when they hit 8 home runs and gave up the first 4.
Well, they're shifting on the defense way back in the outfield grass. You can see right there. I like that little rectangular box there, especially right before the pitch. They can swish it out. Perfect.
Rosario the go-ahead run at second. Cabrera at first with 2 down. And Conforto fouls back the fastball. 0-1. Michaels 0 for 2 tonight. Hitless in his last 11 at bats.
Oh boy, just a little ground ball to shortstop on the left side. Look at that hole. Oh my goodness. Salivating.
Morgan misses down with the slider, which is his preferred weapon. Ball and a strike. Throws his fastball only 36% of the time, his slider 39%.
Correct me if I'm wrong, this is the first time that Kapler's gone to a lefty. He's got 3 of them in the bullpen in this series.
Yep.
Conforto grounds one on the right side. Santana lets it go, and Hernandez throws him out. Side retired.
Shame.
No win for Degrom tonight. Again. Starts brilliant again tonight. 5 wins.
58 times he's given up 1 earned run or less. 6 times this year he's gone 7 innings or more, 1 run or less, and has 6 no decisions.
Jerry's Familia tries to hold the fort in the 9th. Santana, Williams, and Kingery to bat for the Phils. Santana 0 for 3 tonight, 1 for 11 in the series. First pitch slider misses low for ball 1. Sir Anthony Dominguez, the Phillies closer of the moment, is up in the bullpen. He looked dominant in his first outing in this series. Just so Jake knows that it's not just him. With their 2 for 25 at the plate tonight, the Mets at home this year at Citi Field have a team batting average of 207. If that holds for the full season, that's just foul. If that holds for the full season, that would be the lowest home batting average of any major league team since the 1910 Chicago White Sox.
Dead ball era.
108 years ago. It's hard to explain. I mean, they haven't been great on the road, but they've averaged more than a run per game better on the road. Nice pickup by Smith. Familia gets over to cover, and Santana retired, 1 away. Let's preview the post-game show. WB Mason post-game live. Gary and Nelson, guys. Here's Nick Williams. Williams is 1 for 3. So I mentioned that stat about the 1910 White Sox. Maybe Degrom can find some solace in this. Ed Walsh was the ace of that White Sox staff. He made 45 appearances that year, 36 starts. His one-loss record was 18-20. with an earned run average of 1.27. Line the other way, and Conforto comes on to get it to retire Williams 2 out. So Ed Walsh knew what that feeling was like.
1910 White Sox at home, 41-37.
Pitching was pretty good. Steve, I mean, Ed Walsh at a 1.27. Those weren't the hitless wonders, right? That wasn't until 1914.
That's right, and that was before that. Or that was the they set the foundation.
I guess they were trending in that direction. Here's Scott Kingery, who's 0 for 3, lined out to short his last time up, and he chases a slider for strike 1. Familia's second outing in the series, worked a 1-2-3 ninth in the opening game on Monday afternoon. And Kingery hits one out to center field, pretty well hit, but Den Decker's got room. And that retires the side. 1-2-3 for Familia on just 8 pitches. Mets come to bat in the bottom of the ninth, looking for a walk-off. Well, he's the master of the walk-off. He already has one in this series, and he'll be due up second for the Mets in the bottom of the ninth. 10 walk-off RBIs in a fairly minimal number of opportunities, most in franchise history. He snapped a tie with David Wright with his walk-off home run on Monday. 4 career walk-off home runs, and that's tied for the most. And we're going to have a little delay before we can start the bottom of the ninth because one of the patrons has decided to make the field his own.
He's not going to make it.
No, he's going to get in a line.
Oh, Kingery tried to
look at this. They closed on him.
You know, I talked to someone, one of the security guys, about these people that run on the field, and they said it costs about 10 grand for those folks to get out of this trouble.
And they're also banned from the stadium for life.
Yeah. So just to let you know,
You used to get whacked around a little bit back in the day. you didn't. You know, they used to rough you up down there.
Nice job by the security guards to make short work of that foray by somebody who used extremely poor judgment. Here's Jose Bautista. He's the only Met other than Wilmer Flores to have a walk-off RBI this year. And that game last Friday when he hit the walk-off grand slam against the Rays in the game Degrom started. Still waiting for them to clear the field, get the security guards back in place. And here we go. Bautista 0 for 3 facing Sir Anthony Dominguez, who was completely dominant in his 2 innings on Monday. And his first pitch goes to the backstop. Bautista, since his walk-off grand slam last Friday, is 2 for 18. And Dominguez falls behind him 2-0. Tomorrow night the Nats are here for the first of 4. Steven Matz against Max Scherzer. Our coverage begins at 6:30 tomorrow night right here on SNY. Bautista takes a rip and fouls one back upstairs. 2-1.
Ball 3.
For Anthony Dominguez has basically come out of nowhere this year to become a dominant force for the Phillies out of the bullpen. And a slider catches the inside corner. Bautista turns away, not happy. 2-2.
There's a knee buckler. That's that front knee.
Two coming. Chase that one, but got a piece of it.
Dominguez, I was told, does not throw a cutter. It just naturally cuts.
Henry Mejia. Kenley Jansen.
There you go.
2-2. And he struck him out. So Dominguez with his 42nd strikeout in 32 innings.
Good slider right here.
Well, how many times can you expect Wilmer to produce in these spots?
Really?
Every single time, personally.
Well, he's got to start feeling the pressure.
You think?
If he does it right here, I will. Well,
what will you do?
Don't say something you'll regret.
I'll have a cow.
And Wilmer stepping out as he takes that pitch low. Flores is 1 for 3. Singled back in the 4th. Ball and a strike. He's got one more hill left to climb as far as Mets history in these walk-off situations. He's tied for the most walk-off home runs ever. He can have it all to himself if he fulfills everybody's expectations.
Remember, after the game, he hit the walk-off. Interview with Steve Gelbs, he said he was looking to hit a walk-off.
Wilmer's an honest guy.
Big time.
And a half swing. On the slider, 2-2.
Young man has a good slider, throws 98. I mean, the full package.
Two coming. Hit to shortstop. And Kingery throws out Flores, 2 out.
Well, you can't do it every time.
Next time. Might get another chance in this game. You never know.
We've seen that happen before.
Yes, we have. Well, the one against the Nationals.
Right.
I remember in that game, I think in the 9th inning, you said something about a walk-off. Didn't happen. They came up in the 12th, and he did.
But yeah, but I think the thing was you know, Wilmer has a chance to end it, and when he did it, he said, well, he's still got another chance, maybe.
Well, there you go. Dominic Smith 0 for 3 tonight. 1 for his last 20. Gets one in the air toward the left field line. Hoskins gets over there to grab it. And we're headed for extra innings at Citi Field. Dominguez with a 1-2-3 last of the 9th. Scoreless game heading for the 10th.
Added somebody in the supplemental draft, not me, a little out of breath, and we also have a lot of baseball to discuss. We're going to see you after Mets postgame.
Who is she running to?
The studio to provide the next update. Extra innings on SNY brought to you by Nissan. Get the technology of tomorrow today at Nissan Now. Shop ChooseNissan.com. Robert Gazelman on to pitch the 10th inning. And Franco hits one down the right field line, slicing away foul. Well, second extra inning game of this series. The first game of the doubleheader Monday went extras. Gazelman worked for 2 outs in that game.
Extricated from a bases loaded situation.
Franco's 1 for 3 tonight. So Familia worked a 1-2-3-9 through just 8 pitches.
Look good. He's looked good of late. Told you in Toronto he looked outstanding. Throwing strikes. Really, throwing strikes is his issue.
Well, for a guy who almost certainly is being shopped every time he goes out there and pitches that effectively, it enhances his value. 2 to Franco. Aaron Altair is out on deck with the pitcher's spot due up next. And the Mets will be thrilled to see Sir Anthony Dominguez out after 1 inning.
Franco just chipped the top of his bat off, so he needed a new one. Different tape than the old one.
Phillies are 6-2 in extra innings this year. The Mets are 5-5. Line the other way and caught by Dom Smith. 1 away.
With that double written all over it, in big trouble.
Well, he's not hitting, but he is taking care of business on defense.
Nice play right there.
So 1 out now. Aaron Altair. This has pretty much become Altair's job. Just the odd pinch hitting assignment.
I mean, that was Williams' job until Williams got hot.
Altair made 1 start in this series in Game 2 of the doubleheader Monday. He had 4 plate appearances, a walk, and 3 strikeouts. Broken bat fly ball out in left center. And Dendecker takes charge. 2 out. Nats have an active night in his first game back in a Mets uniform.
Yes, he has.
Including a diving catch that survived replay.
I mean, I have to tell you, honestly, I didn't even know he was on the Mets minor league team until saw him in the lineup today, because he spent most of his time in the National League East the last few years, right?
6 putouts for Dendecker tonight. So 2 out and nobody on. Now Andrew Knapp, who has the only extra base hit in this game. He doubled into the right field corner in the 5th. Mark Ladder Jr. up in the bullpen for the Phils. Looks like he'll pitch the bottom of the 10th. And Knapp goes after the changeup from Gazelman. 1-1.
Well, Mark Leiter's one of those guys that has started in the past, so maybe he is a multiple inning guys for the Phillies here in the extra innings.
We saw him either last year or the year before with an extraordinary long relief effort. Must have been 4 or 5 innings.
Yeah, tons of strikeouts.
Coming to Knapp, and it misses away. 3-1. Cesar Hernandez would be next. 8 scoreless innings for Jacob Degrom tonight. 5 hits, a walk, 7 strikeouts. Lowered his season ERA to a major league leading 1.68. Familia 1-2-3 ninth, and now Gazelman in the 10th. And Knapp takes ball 4, and the Phillies have a 2-out base runner. Just the 2nd walk given up by Met pitchers tonight. And now Cesar Hernandez is 1 for 4, singled back in the 3rd. You know, it's not all that many games that go scoreless into extra innings, but it happens from time to time. Sometimes teams can outdo themselves. The Mets and Phillies played a doubleheader the last weekend of the season in 1965. Second game of the doubleheader, they played 18 scoreless innings. And then the game was called a tie, and they had to replay it the next day.
From the beginning, right?
Yes.
Back in the day.
Rob Gardner was the starter for the Mets. He went the first 15 innings.
Wow.
I believe Chris Short was the Phillies starter. I think he went 15 innings also. Nubber off the end of the bat, circling in his Reyes. Bare hand play, has no play now. They have the runner coming around second, and Knapp is in a run down.
What a rock. Jeez.
Reyes will try and outrun him and finally makes the tag to end the inning. Well, Reyes did a great job not throwing that ball. Knapp came steaming around second and hung himself out to dry.
All you kids out there, number one thing you want to do in a game, never take your eye off the baseball.
I'm taking my Cal Berkeley remark back.
Mets will have Devin Mesoraco set to lead off against the 6th Philadelphia pitcher, Mark Leonard Jr.
Just cut a couple of outs in yesterday's ball game, did Mark.
See his splits backwards, extremely effective against lefties, not so much against righties. Mets will have right, left, right coming up in the 10th. Mesoraco, Dendecker, and Rosario. Devin's 0 for 3 tonight, 1 for 12 in this series, and he takes just off the outside corner, ball 1. Sir Anthony Dominguez worked a 1-2-3 ninth. Phillies bullpen has been spotless so far, 3 scoreless innings, but what else is new? Phillies bullpen coming into this game, the last 10 games at a 1.15 ERA. Only hiccup in this series was the walk-off home run Arano gave up to Flores on Monday. Mets have managed just 2 singles all night. Their last one came in the 4th inning. Rosario singled in the 3rd, Flores singled in the 4th, and that's it. And Mesoraco foul tips it, and it hit the ground according to home plate umpire Dan Bellino, and that keeps Mesoraco's at bat alive. Now, how can he tell by looking at the catcher's glove whether the ball hit the ground?
Maybe looking for some dirt to come up.
You think?
Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, he got it right.
Did he tip it?
Only the shadow knows.
Okay.
Two to Mesoraco with Dendecker on deck. And Mesoraco drives one to left, but Hoskins is right there. 1 out. So now Dendecker, who's 0 for 3, reached on an error in the 5th. Going into tonight, Den Decker in his career, 2 years with the Mets, 2 years with the Nat, that's 4 games last year with the Tigers, 350 career at bats. Lifetime .234 hitter with 7 home runs.
I thought he had a chance to be a pretty good hitter.
I remember when he came back for his second year with the Mets, he had so many injuries, and he had about a 2-week stretch, and you were really singing his praises about his swing and his potential.
Well, it's funny, over the course of his career, the game has changed lanes on him. When he first came up, he had power, and he swung for the fences, and then they changed him to try to become more of a contact guy, work the count, and while he was working on that swing, the game changed on him and became a home run game.
Rolled down to first, handled by Santana. 2 out. Mets are now 0 for their last 18.
Oh man.
Now Rosario, who's been on base twice, a single and a walk. He's stolen a base and been caught stealing once. And the slow curve from Leiter. You know, when you check out the repertoires of various pitchers, you go to Fangraphs and it'll tell you everything they throw and how often they throw it. And usually a pitcher throws 3 different pitches or 4 different pitches. When you go to Leiter's page, every box is filled.
Checks
he
every
throws
box.
2-seamer, 4-seamer, cutter, slider, curveball, changeup, splitter. He's got them all.
Well, his dad was a little bit like that when he pitched for the Phillies. He little sinker, curveball, slider.
His uncle was much easier. Cutter, curveball.
That's right.
Rosario lines one into center field for a base hit. That ball's going to roll. Hoskins able to cut it off, but Rosario get 2 bases out of it. A 2-out double puts the potential winning run at second base.
Some high energy, 2 games in a row for Mr. Rosario.
And again, the Phillies had that outfield shifted so far to right that there was the center fielder wasn't even in the neighborhood to pick that ball up, and that led to the double.
Good job by Hoskins there to cut it off.
That ball gets by him. Game might be over.
Yeah. Love the energy. Love it.
Well, now it's up to Reyes to try and get him in. Brandon Nimmo is out on deck to pinch hit with the pitcher spot due up next. Jose is 0 for 3 tonight. And this year with runners in scoring position, Jose Reyes is 1 for 23. They are playing Reyes a step or 2 to pull in the outfield, but extremely shallow.
Wind has died down a little bit, so you might be able to drive the ball over someone's head. Reyes hit the ball on the nose his last at bat to center field.
Leiter behind him 2-0. And Reyes takes a big cut at a changeup, 2-1. Off the corner, 3-1.
Well, you throw a 2-0 change and you throw a 3-1 change with an open base.
Yes, you do.
Why
Trying
not?
to get him to pull it.
Got nothing to lose.
Change or breaking ball.
If you're going to look for it, then he gets in his stretch. He looks at second base, jump on top of the plate.
Nimmo on deck to pinch it. And Reyes takes that changeup for a strike. 3-2. Well, if you throw a 3-1, would you throw a 3-2?
He might try to surprise him with a curveball.
Yeah.
You know, the knee locker. Haven't seen it.
It's got that slow curve that you can double clutch on. And did he go? He did not. Ball 4. And now Nimmo will come up to try and win it for New York.
Good at bat by Reyes.
And it didn't look pretty. Butt was flying out and everything, but he held it back.
It's been a rough series for Nimmo, just 1 for 10 thus far, and he struck out against Leiter in last night's game. And he gets another crack at him here. And they're still playing pretty shallow.
Yeah, too shallow, especially for Hoskins in left field. Doesn't have the kind of speed to make up if Nimmo hits it on the nose.
I mean, any hit to the outfield, Rosario's going to score. Hit in the air, deep right center field. Back goes Williams looking up, and it's out of here. Brandon Nimmo wins it with a 3-run homer. The Mets' third walk-off home run on this homestand. Bautista, Flores, and now Nimmo gets the Mets a split of the series with a pinch hit 3-run homer in the bottom of the 10th.
Keith, I almost forgot about how good Nimmo is as a pinch hitter.
That's right. Getting the day off. He's been a little bit struggling. He's been getting on base and being a part of innings, scoring runs. But boy, it's a big hit right here. Good for Brandon. Oh, the old rolling curveball. Look at him bust out of the box. Always. Well done.
13th home run of the season for Nimmo. And the happiest man in baseball has another reason to smile. He almost hit it there.
I know. I thought he hit the...
Reasons to be cheerful.
No doubt.
Let's go down to Steve Gelb. Steve?
Wow. Gary, right before you came to me, Brandon Nimmo just shouts, "Man, that's so cool." First walk-off home run. What's that like?
Unbelievable. I mean, thank you, fans, for staying. Thank you, guys. I know things aren't going the way you want, but thank you for still coming and supporting us.
Whew. Brandon, yesterday you struck out against Leiter. Came up aggressive, first pitch swinging. What were you looking for in that spot?
Just a good pitch to hit. Just like I always do, try to get a good pitch to hit. And I don't know, I just kind of blacked out, swung, closed my eyes, and it worked out.
Brandon, how do you get ready for that at bat?
We've put a lot of work in over the past couple weeks, and so just getting ready for that at bat, I was trying to focus on my keys. Even there with Slate, he was throwing me a lot of BP, and had to get ready a few different times to try and get ready for that at bat. But I don't know, I just tried to go up there with a calm heartbeat. Don't let the situation get too big, and just swing the bat the way you know how. So.
Brandon, before I let you go, another ho-hum night for Jacob Degrom, 8 shutout innings. What has he meant to this team in the first half of the season?
I mean, Jake's our all-star. I mean, he's been the best player on the team. He comes out every single time. He performs. He gives 100% of what he has, and we're just really lucky to have him, and I hope we have him for a long time because he's a leader. He gives us a chance every time we go out on that field, and we're just very lucky to have him. So thanks to the pitching staff for letting that at-bat come up, and just glad we can get the win.
Brandon, congratulations. Thanks for the time.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Gary, happiest man in baseball. That smile's not going anywhere anytime soon.
That was great. Tonight's game summary presented by Citi. Nimmo with the walk-off 3-run homer. Degrom with another seminal outing that results in yet another no decision. And the Mets get a split of the 4-game series. Game summary presented by Citi. For every Mets win, the Mets organization is proud to contribute $2,500 to Northwell Health and the Katz Institute for Women's Health. For more information, visit northwell.edu/Katz. This one brings the total contribution so far this season to $92,500. Your Coors Light refreshing finish. Match Day ends with a Nimmo bang. Smile illuminating the night. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Empire City Casino. Current jackpot is now over $1.1 million. You could be the next big winner. By Tri-State GMC. Visit the pros at your nearest Tri-State GMC dealer. And by Good Humor, the official ice cream of the New York Mets. And by Geico, the #1 insurer in the New York market. Final score tonight in 10. The Mets 3, the Phillies nothing. Now the Nationals are in for the first of 4 tomorrow night. Steven Matz against Max Scherzer. Our coverage begins at 6:30 tomorrow night on SNY. Brandon Nimmo sending the folks home happy and then thanking them for showing up. Thanks for showing up yourself, Brandon. Curveball sails out. 13 home runs for Nimmo. His first walk-off home run, a face full of gum, and not unhappy about it in the slightest. Now for Keith Hernandez, Ron Darling, Steve Gelbs, and our entire SNY crew, I'm Gary Cohen at Citi Field. Time for WB Mason post-game live. Let's join Gary and Nelson in the studio, guys.